Welcome, greetings, and good evening. Thank you for taking the time out to listen to and welcome to my Aisha Speaks Jade podcast, where I am your hostess, Aisha, also known as Jade. And this episode is one of those that is near and dear to my heart. Just one of them, because I have a few of them that are very near and dear to my heart that I'm passionate about. So this one is about mental health. And if any of you do know, July is Minority Mental Health Month. But just because May or June might be designated to mental health or any awareness, it does not just stop there. It continues and goes on 365 days out of the year, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Okay? So July again is Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. And the episode that I want to speak about, and you can agree or not agree, but always make sure that you comment in my box below. The title of this episode is The Truth Is Everyone Has Mental Health Issues. I tend to think that a lot of that is true because I've always said for a very long time that there are so many individuals that are undiagnosed. So just because you don't have a diagnosis doesn't mean that you've been through some mental health issues or some crisis or some depression or anxiety or have had panic attacks or PTSD. You may not have been diagnosed, and okay, that's fine. But there have been those of us that just that little extra step, we just felt like we just needed some additional help. So with the things that went on with us, we got clinically diagnosed, as I am diagnosed. And if you have not heard my story before, just briefly, I do live with a mental health issue. I don't like to say mental health illness. That's just my personal pet peeve. But I am diagnosed with major depression disorder associated with schizoaffective disorder. That means my gift is that I see things people can't see sometimes and hear things that people don't hear. Does that make me strange or weird? No, it is a gift. It is a blessing. That's the way that I take it, because society will tell you that everything is wrong with you, to be honest, okay? I have PTSD. I have anxiety associated with panic attacks. And I think that's pretty much, yes, they say I have bipolar symptoms. They say I have mood disorders, okay? You can have certain symptoms sometimes, but you may not have the full-blown diagnosis. Okay, I take everything and I turn it around for it to be a blessing and a gift. I'm not harming myself, though I have in the past. But today, I'm not harming myself, nor am I harming anyone else. And I'm so blessed. And I'm dual diagnosed because I was using drugs once upon a time. No one knew, because I was one of those professional addicts. You didn't know I went to work and everything. Child, please. I had to still get my coins. But yes, at the end of the day, I have to be honest with myself. I'm not looking for any pats on the back or the woe is me. I'm not looking for any of that, because I've challenged myself through my journey and my recovery of healing to turn that negative into a positive. It's not easy every day, but I do my best, and I am a work in progress. And as long as I know that I'm going forward and not backwards, that is a step. Those are steps. So again, the title is The Truth Is Everyone Has Mental Health Issues. So I want to kind of speak from an excerpt, an excerpt from this book, which is called Rivers Are Coming. Okay. And it has to do with healing from emotional wounds inflicted by depression and trauma. And I'm sure we've all been in deep dark spaces. Again, you don't even, not even if you're not diagnosed, but I'm sure that we have been in deep dark spaces and hit roadblocks as we've tried to journey and evolve through the phases of our lives. So just listen. And again, I'm reading a piece from that book. So when I was 22 years old, I was diagnosed with severe depression, but that was no surprise to me. I knew I had struggled with something all my life, but I never knew the vocabulary for what it is that I was struggling with. As a child, I was a victim of intense bullying, and I grew up carrying the lies that people said over me. I allowed this burden to weigh me down, and it took my confidence and self-esteem right along with it. At 16 years old, this heaviness broke me down, and I attempted suicide not once, but twice. I hid myself behind my wounds and blanketed myself in my sorrows. My suicide attempts led to my struggling with cutting, and I began to engage in self-destructive behaviors. I never knew how to talk to people about the issues that I was dealing with in private because learning how to speak up about my mental health was not a language that I was taught. I ended up being something that I had to teach myself. I spent years in therapy learning how to unlearn my negative thought patterns and healing from my addictive tendencies. My life flourished in so many ways, and I learned that as people, we cannot hide ourselves and expect to be seen. Hiding was how I lived. I covered up all the ugly parts of me because I tried so hard to be perfect and meet other people's standards. That just turned into burnout and pure misery. The process of going to therapy took place through my whole entire time in undergrad, and after graduating with my BA in business, I decided that I wanted to dedicate the rest of my life towards something that I was passionate about, and I knew I wanted to be in the helping field. So I continued on to get my master's from NYU in social work. And since then, I've been working as a therapist, treating clients with mental illnesses and helping clients sustain their mental health. I come across so many clients in my field that will flat out tell me that they don't have mental health. Yes, you do. We all do. And this shows me that as a culture, we still have so much work to do on deconstructing negative stereotypes associated with mental health and oppose those systems and people that try to make us believe that we don't. It's time for the narrative in communities to change when it comes to our emotional well-being, or we are not going to prosper to our fullest potential. If we continue on thinking that our environment, social interactions, upbringing, and relationships don't impact us on a mental and emotional level. So just think about it a little bit. How can you pay more attention to your mental health? That is the question. How can you pay more attention to your mental health, whether you have a diagnosis or not? Again, I've always said there's a lot more people undiagnosed than diagnosed. I see it every day at my job. Every day. I see it out in the world. I see it at my job. I see it. And that's not to bring. I'm not trying to tear down nobody or insult anybody or disrespect nobody. That's just facts. That's truth. Okay. So the first thing is know what your body is telling you. The body has its own way of talking to us about how it's feeling and the damage that we are causing it. You have to listen to your body. I didn't listen to my body, and guess what? My body said, okay, I've gave you several times to listen to me and you didn't, so I'm going to throw your ass on the floor. I'm going to show you better than I can tell you, because apparently you're not listening to me. And absolutely it did, and it has. When I want to be stubborn and don't listen, when I know that I'm eating the things that I should not be doing, it definitely affects my physical and my mental. Okay, so you might feel tension in your neck or back, swelling in your feet, struggling with sleep, tense or tight muscles, rapid heartbeats, shallow breathing, and more. And I've pretty much experienced most of this. All of these things are signs that there is something deeper happening, possibly related to your emotions. These reactions are actually a blessing, because when we are unaware of what our emotions are doing for us, our bodies will let us know. And that is a gateway to seeking management for our symptoms. The next to look out for is, don't turn a blind eye to your mental health. Don't let people tell you, oh, you don't need no help. Get in a circle, let's pray. Just forget about it. It will go away. Pop a bunch of pills in your mouth. That'll take it away. No, go to a doctor or a holistic person, practitioner. Go see about yourself. So according to NAMI, NAMI, which I am affiliated with, I am a member of NAMI, which stands for National Alliance on Mental Illness. Approximately 1 in 5 adults in the U.S., 43.8 million, or 18.5%. And this may be higher, but for now, these are the stats that I'm speaking of, experience mental illness in a given year. It's important to understand these numbers, because the reality is humans are susceptible to experiencing issues that are beyond our control, and there shouldn't be shame around that. In an effort to be mentally real, you must notice the signs and symptoms that have significantly impacted your day-to-day function. So if you notice, because you're going to notice most of the time, most of us are going to notice if we're off. Like if we're not, if you're not that same bubbly person in one day, like your behavior and attitudes are like changing, that means that you need to go seek some type of help. If they last beyond a 2-week period, this could possibly be a mental health issue and deserves professional attention. So while the sisters of the church may tell you pray, and I'm not knocking any kind of prayer or chanting or mantra, I'm saying do additional stuff. Because what you don't want to do from experience is let that thing go on for a long period of time and you don't address it. It will be ugly. The next is exercise positive affirmations. I like affirmations. I do. Because when you speak out positive things come back. When you speak out negative things come back. Often the mind is wired by negative thinking. And I know a lot of us done a lot of negative thinking. And you don't have to hear voices. You could be doing that negative self-talk. Also self-pitying, self-shaming, and judgmental thoughts constantly interfere with our ability to accept ourselves for who we are and stand tall in our worth and glory. And I know a lot of us, it don't have to be all of us, but enough of us have definitely done the negative self-thinking, the negative self-talking, the self-pitying, the criticizing, being our own worst enemies, the self-shaming, putting ourselves down, and having those judgmental thoughts, right? We do that. In addition to, we know that a lot of times people have done that to us in our younger years or even our adult years, okay? But we have to learn how to stand tall in our worth and glory. Negativity has a way of sticking to our minds because our brains are actually much more aroused by negative stimuli. which I've said before as well. It's easier to think negative. It's easier for a lot of us to put out negative energy on ourselves versus trying to like stand in a mirror or not stand in a mirror and just speak some good things about us. That seems to be hard. Like even if we say write down 5 things good about ourselves or write down 10 things, a lot of us have a hard time trying to do that. Sometimes you can barely get past maybe 3, 2. But if you say write down those negative things, boy, I tell you, we can really write them down, can't we? Let's just be honest with ourselves, people. Which is why it's important to balance out those negative frequencies with positive ones. Filling your mind with positive affirmations is a great way. It's an excellent way to reshape your internal world and rid yourself of negative belief systems. Okay, when you begin your morning with some positive affirmations, or start your morning by affirming that you are loved and that you are enough. You are loved and that you are enough. You are loved and that you are enough. Exercise your right to live a wholehearted life. The next thing would be exercise your brain. There's all kinds of ways to exercise your brain. You know, YouTube is a good friend, or you can just Google. There are different ways to exercise your brain. So how do you keep your brain stimulated? Netflix is great, but you might not want to make soaking up hours worth of Netflix or Hulu or a lot of television the whole goal of your wellness plan. Do things like reading books. Like I just got 2 books from the library and I'm going to read them. I started reading them, but I felt my eyes, I felt me dozing off, so I had to stop. I want to make sure that I'm alert when I'm reading. So challenge yourself to read some books. Challenge yourself to write, even if it's jotting down your thoughts in a journal. It's a great way to enhance memory and brain activity. Problem solving, such as exploring new ways and opportunities to diffuse difficult or stressful situations, is also a great way to reflect and offers a greater sense of self-awareness. Playing strategic or tactical games such as, I was just getting ready to speak on this, Sudoku or Sudoku, chess, crossword puzzles, can add some fun to the moment while also giving your mind the space to absorb knowledge and not sit on autopilot. So there are options, people. If you're into reading books, read a book, even if it's a chapter a day, or, don't overdo yourself, but read some. Put the book down, and if you want to go back, that's okay too. Writing, journaling, playing chess, playing different types of games. I love crossword puzzles, and my daughter does Sudoku or Sudoku or Sudoku. I'm going to get it right. I want to ask her how to do that. Yeah, she does it from time to time. I need to check her out and be like, yeah, so let's try that again. My son used to play chess just from out of nowhere. Not only was it therapeutic, but he learned how to play chess. And again, I love crossword puzzles, love playing like different types of games from, the most, just I like playing games. So that's something that I need to get back into, like just doing different things. Hey, if you like to crochet, or if you would like to learn how to crochet or knit, check that out. Right. It's so many things to do besides watch Netflix, Hulu, or television. Not knocking it, but perhaps do something additional. And get enough rest or sleep, which is so important, because when I don't get enough rest, it's not a good look at all. And I don't think it is for anyone when you don't get, they say at least 8, some say 10. I do about 4, maybe 5, but 4. So yeah, and that's contributed to my PTSD. But I'm working. I'm working. So sleep deprivation can impair your judgment. It can cause you to develop to develop false memories, and terrifyingly, it can actually trigger psychosis, which it can. And if you are like, and if you are the person who struggles with depression, a lack of sleep can enhance its symptoms. Excuse me. So yes, if you have depression and you're not getting sleep, that may not be a good look, because there has been times that I've had insomnia and I just don't go to sleep, and I have depression too. Ooh, honey, and ooh, it's a lot. It can be a lot. Your sleep is giving you the rest and relaxation that you need for a new and better day. So don't take it for granted, people. Get those 6 to 8 hours. Get those 6 to 8 hours if you can. If you can get longer hours, that's great. Okay. And also, there are ways that can help you relax and get the rest. Certainly, like those YouTube videos with the ocean and nature and things like that can help you. They have those things on YouTube. I'm telling you, make YouTube your firstborn, or make it your best friend. They have apps too that can do it. So find out a good app if you want to. Like, there are different ways to help you in your mental health and well-being. And lastly, be mindful of what you are absorbing. Yes, so sometimes certain things on television may trigger you that you don't need to watch. Certain music can trigger you. Certain foods can trigger you. I know one big thing that is a trigger. That is the news. OMG, shut the front door. Like, everything that's going on with the news constantly is just a lot of negativity. And I understand that a lot of people may not want to deal with that. Or they, do something else to take them away from all of that. Maybe that's why some people watch reality shows, to escape from things. And there is no judgment over here. So be mindful of what you absorb and how much of it you absorb. So everything that you partake in is either uplifting or detrimental to your spirit. It's important to silence the inner and outer negative critic. And what you are allowing in your atmosphere can actually play a role in shaping your mindsets and beliefs, which in effect disrupts your action. And let me also say about absorbing honey. Those toxic people, whether they are your coworkers, your family, relationships, it could be anything. Watch toxic people that you absorb. Okay, if you need to love them from a long handle or get rid of them altogether, do what's best for you. Don't let people influence you and be like, child, I couldn't do that because that's my family. Well, guess what, boo-boo? Child, that's your family. And if you want to have that type of relationship, that is okay, because everybody is built differently. And even though people are going to judge you, that's just how people are. Guess what? They're not you. It's not their well-being. It is yours. So do what's best for yourself. Create the life that you want. Yeah. So again, reshaping your mindsets and belief. Got me a little hot here. Which in effect disrupts your actions. Everything from conversations, music, movies, and so much more can alter your worth from the inside out. Your mind is a very fragile and sacred place. Okay, it is very fragile and sacred. So respect it. Respect that. Make sure that it's protected. Make sure that your crown from the top of your head to the soles of your feet are protected. The same way you watch the foods you eat because you are trying to take better care of your health and body, be just as mindful when it comes to who and what you invite into your atmosphere that can bring a plague to your mind. So yes, in addition to that, certain foods, I think I probably said that, certain foods can play a trigger as well. So I'm not telling you to go vegan. I'm not telling you to go vegetarian. Whatever you do, just be mindful. Okay, you don't have to have second, third, and fourth plates. Just be mindful of how you eat. Okay, because your mental and your physical and your spiritual, whatever that looks like for you guys, it coincides or it coexist together. So make sure that there's a balance. So reflect and be honest with yourself. You don't have to be honest with me. I'm not a counselor. I'm not asking you to do all your confiding with me. But be honest with yourself, because that's the first step. When you're honest with yourself, that's where it starts. We can lie to everybody else, but don't lie to yourself. Be honest with yourself. Do you really think that you don't have mental health? Do you really think that you don't have a social, emotional, and physical well-being? Just simmer with it. Sit with it just for a moment. Be honest with yourself. So the conversation starts with you, along with the change in our mental health epidemic. Understand that the best preventive medicine for a successful lifestyle is being in tune with your well-being and creating a wellness plan that offers sustainability and is edifying for your soul. So if you have to take a little medicine, that's on you. That's not for me to judge. Whether it's for your mental and or your physical. Do what you need to do for yourself. Doesn't mean that if you take, in my opinion, it doesn't mean if you take medicine. Some people have to take medicine for the rest of their life. It is what it is. But if you're in a position where you don't have to take medicine for the rest of your life, and that's okay. If you want to incorporate holistic ways, that's okay. Or natural ways, or organic ways, whatever kind of way that's going to work best for your life and your well-being, your mind, body, and soul, please do it. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you so much. This was just a continuous friendly reminder from me. And I hope that it was good for you. I would like to invite each and every one of you, if you have not as of yet, to join my social media platforms, which I am on Facebook right here, right now. Leave comments, leave comments, leave comments. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and I have a YouTube channel. You can find me at Aisha Speaks Jade. Aisha Speaks Jade. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and my YouTube channel, which you can go to and subscribe. Aisha Speaks Jade. Hit that thumbnail to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell to stay in the loop of everything. I appreciate everyone's patience as my social media platforms are getting updated with videos and everything. If we are on Facebook, definitely just check out the replays on my Aisha Speaks Jade page. And you can check them out on my personal page too if we are friends. Also, if you have a LinkedIn, you can find me on LinkedIn as well. I'm at Aisha Jade Speaks. Aisha Jade Speaks. So just make sure that you are taking care of your self-care, your self-development, your self-awareness, creating the best life that you can. Just love on yourself internally. Do what you need to do for yourself, your well-being. And when you go through those challenges, there's tons of support systems out here based on where you're at. Catch it, check it, change it. Don't let nobody tell you that this defines you. It doesn't stop right here. You can still be successful, undiagnosed or diagnosed, but make sure that you take care of yourself, inside as well as out. With that said, peace and blessings be upon each and every one of you. Nam Yoho Renge Kyo and Ashe. Peace out.